This is just a recording, so if anybody ever jumps on live, I appreciate it. But like I said, I would do this offline where nobody sees it if I had to. So you'll notice no Big G today. We will resume our regularly scheduled Virtues Rage coming up next Tuesday at 11 like we always do when we talk about Raw and SmackDown. Everybody knows I was at WrestleMania in New Orleans this past week. I do, as much as I want to talk about all of that stuff, you guys do have to tune into the No DQ review video, which, as the time I'm recording this on Thursday night at 10 o'clock, Aaron Rift is uploading it. So you'll be able to go on my Twitter, go on NoDQ.com, go on the YouTube page. You will see the full No DQ review, and you will get thoughts, various thoughts from all of us. This week it was myself, as always, as the moderator, Aaron Rift, Greg Cherry, and TJS, Tyler Joseph Smith. So you'll be able to go on there and get thoughts from WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown. This Rage is going to be shorter. I do have a DVD that I want to share with you and a video game like I always do. Like I said, Big G will be back with me next week. But I'm going to talk about one thing and one thing only today, and we'll talk about it as long as we need to. And Kyle already knows what's going on because he said Jericho's the GOAT. And obviously he sees me with my Alpha Omega shirt. Last time we had big news, it was Jericho. For me, because I'm a big Jericho fan, Jericho was going to face Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. And I did one of my very first Virtues Rage videos just by myself. And I think Aaron uploaded that onto his YouTube channel. And that still holds like 3,000, 3,500 views. Just of me talking about Jericho and Omega. And a lot of thumbs up. So hopefully this one's well received as well. I don't know. I'm going to give Aaron the green light if he wants to post this as just the video also on his YouTube page. Since I am no longer suspended and I am back on the No DQ YouTube channel and that El Virtuoso went back to Mexico City, I am drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, black cherry lemonade. There's a shout out to you, Greg Cherry. I want to talk about Rusev Day. So as everybody knows, Rusev was pinned by Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania, allowing Jinder Mahal to become the United States champion. Despite all the Rusev Day chants, we found out not too long ago that the Undertaker would be facing Rusev at the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. I believe it's Friday, April 27th at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific here in the States at the greatest Royal Rumble event. It would be Undertaker and Rusev in a casket match. Rusev won on Twitter. I think him and Lana were caught on TMZ burying how old the Undertaker was. Not in a disrespectful way. I think they were playing more into like a heel character. Rusev also tweeted, you know, bury me softly or something like that, referring to the Undertaker. A lot of fans jumped on the bandwagon and said, this is it. Rusev's going to die the death right here. Undertaker just squashed John Cena at WrestleMania. There's no way that this match isn't going to be a complete burial of Rusev at the greatest Royal Rumble. And I'm sitting there thinking, it'll probably go 10 minutes. It'll be like the Cena flag match when Rusev had that flag match with Cena. But in the end, you know who is going to win. Then we just found out today that Rusev has been pulled from that match. I don't know if he's going to still be in the Rumble. Obviously, Lana stated in that TMZ video that women are not traveling to Saudi Arabia. It's going to be all strictly the male performers. Why is The Undertaker still wrestling? Well, Mr. Gazo, I'm going to explain to you that's not why I'm excited about this match. I think you know why. He's still wrestling because somewhere along the line, there's marks out there that like to see his entrance, right? And likes to see his stupid little kneel at the end with the eyes rolling in the back of his head. That's why he's still here. Now, I would have liked to have seen a casket match with Undertaker and Rusev, but the days of old, washed up, I guess, no, veterans that are ready to retire to put younger talent over, those are long gone. Could we have had a casket match with Rusev and Undertaker where, by gosh, the Undertaker puts Rusev over? Even if Cena was involved in that match to keep his feud going with the Undertaker? No, we can't do that. Rusev Day is a thing. It's a chant. But Vince McMahon doesn't see it that way. since Rusev Day has been a thing, #1 in merch sales with the t-shirts, Rusev has been nothing but a mid-card jobber with Aiden English. Doesn't matter how long and how loud you people chant his name. If the t-shirts are selling, why does Vince McMahon need to push this guy? You guys are already making him money off of this Rusev Day gimmick. He doesn't need to push it. Okay? And the reason why he's not pushing it is because he didn't create it. It's something Rusev said, and all the marks like, yes, 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 adapted to. Now, why did Daniel Bryan get pushed? Well, Daniel Bryan's a really, really, really good wrestler, you know, and I think that he had a different respect in the locker room they're not giving Rusev. They buried Rusev a long time ago. When he came out on a tank at WrestleMania 31 as the undefeated U.S. champion, Cena done beat him. Rusev was done after that. Never got a great push. So here we are. Why did Rusev get pulled? Is he going to quit WWE? Did he put in his resignation? Is it the things he said on TMZ or Twitter? Did that bury him? Is Vince? I believe, you know, maybe it's some of that stuff. Whatever Dave Meltzer says, don't believe him. Believe me and my gut feeling more than Dave Meltzer and the moles that supposedly call in and tell him, you know, what's going on. All I got to say about Dave Meltzer is I follow him on Twitter. I don't block him. You know, out of respect for Aaron and ODQ, I don't direct tweet him anymore. I don't make fun of him. But I will say that JBL throwing Meltzer under the bus, saying they've always fed him false news, at least mostly false news, to put the people off the scent, I believe JBL. So, and I know JBL wasn't writing storylines or whatever, but I mean, he was backstage. Meltzer wasn't. Are you guys going to believe things Meltzer says and other dirt sheets? Now, granted, it is good to think we're in the know because of the dirt sheets and the internet, but come on, people, let's suspend our disbelief. You know, I know Aaron has a career and a job to do with all this stuff, so I respect that. But don't hold everything some of those guys say, and it's not Meltzer, there's other guys. Don't say that's what's going to happen. And when they say this is what, they weren't there, they don't know. Vince Russo obviously throws, you know, exposes them every week on his channel. Great show, by the way. Go to Russo's brand, check castrating the marks out. But all I want to say is Rusev, I think, was pulled because I think he's younger and he's too quick. He works a fast style of match, even though he's a bigger guy. He does spinning heel kicks. He does super kicks. And a casket match, slow and drawn out, and the fact that we don't know what Saudi Arabia is going to chant. Are they going to chant Rusev Day? That doesn't fit the WWE's narrative with The Undertaker being the babyface in that match. So there's a lot of externalities that I think are why Rusev got pulled. What exactly it is, I don't know. Again, we can say that maybe, just maybe, Vince had cold feet, doesn't want Rusev Day chants. Maybe that they're worried about how Rusev can work with The Undertaker in a casket match like that. Maybe that Rusev is saying a bunch of bad things backstage and on social media and TMZ, and it rubbed the brass the wrong way. Maybe Rusev just wants to leave WWE because they're not putting him in the main event. Again, we'll never know until it happens. But the fact is, they did an audible, and it was what they should have did from the beginning. Now, with that said, why they're not continuing this John Cena thing after Cena got buried by The Undertaker at WrestleMania. You know, I've come to grow to like Cena because, again, supporting Roman Reigns and seeing people hate the guy that's forced. I used to be like that with Cena. But like I said, I've seen the light. I've changed my ways. I understand why WWE does what they do. You guys can shit on Roman Reigns all you want. The bottom line is he bumps. He's a star. He's getting better on the mic. Did he get his spot too early? Maybe. But that's not the case. This isn't about Roman Reigns. This is about The Undertaker. And now Chris Jericho on Saudi Arabia's grandest stage of them all, the greatest WrestleMania. Now, the thing that sucks is on the 27th, that's a Friday. I work that day. I won't be watching it live, but I will be coming home and watching the replay. I really had no interest in the 50-man Royal Rumble. John Cena versus Triple H thrown together for no reason because, you know, to me it just felt like a house show. We probably, nothing's going to mean anything. The winner of the Rumble probably won't even go on to anything, even though I think they should go on to SummerSlam for a title shot. But then all of a sudden, Chris Jericho was announced, and originally I thought he was going to be in the Rumble match. Well, 1 out of 50 guys, he'd probably come in, do a couple spots, get thrown out. So I was a little excited about it, but now, and if I'm missing some of yours, you're one of the few that do. One of the few that do. I'm one of the few that do. We're talking about Roman Reigns. You're nuts. One of the few that do. He outsold everybody else at Access, bro. He's still up there in the top 3 at merch sales. The smarks in the crowd on TV that don't chant for Roman, that boo him, that means absolutely nothing because they're still there and they bought a ticket. So anyway, this isn't about Roman Reigns. We'll talk about Roman Reigns and the state of the Roman Empire dress after he becomes the Universal Champion at this event, the Greatest Royal Rumble. If Roman Reigns does not become the Universal Champion at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, one member or one Twitter follower of mine randomly will win not this shirt, but a Virtue's Rage No DQ shirt. I am that confident. I have not done that since Roman did not win the Royal Rumble and I actually had to pay out my very first shirt. So that's how confident I am that Roman's becoming the Universal Champion there. But to me, there's a bigger match. It's The Undertaker, who has looked awful and old, probably ever since that second match with Triple H, or whatever that one match, no, the first match, whenever Triple H beat the crap out of him, Undertaker had to get help to the back. I can't remember when that was. He has looked like crap, a shell of his former self since then. Like EGW Vengeance would say, he should have washed it up a long time ago. But the fact is, it's Vince McMahon's creation. He's the dead man. He's coming back every now and again to draw because there are marks out there that like the entrance. You got him against Chris Jericho. Now, why is this going to work? First of all, Chris Jericho is the best part-timer. He's better than Brock Lesnar. I'm not going to say he's that draw like Brock Lesnar, but let's not lie here. He drew probably an extra 5,000 or 6,000 asses at the Tokyo Dome when he went against Omega. They went from 28,000 to 35,000 from Wrestle Kingdom 11 to 12 when Jericho was billed on the top of the card with Kenny Omega. That was a match, and that match with Omega, to me, was the best match on the show, not the Okada and Naito and all these. Why? Because Jericho told Kenny, here's a couple spots, we'll get to them, but we're going to call this match in the ring like old school. What did Jericho do? Him and Kenny went out there, and they called it in the ring. Were there a couple flaws that if you watch closely, like the ref not knowing, about it's no DQ, so when they grabbed the rope, the ref shouldn't have called for a break. Yeah, whatever. But, there's a language barrier in Japan. Jericho stole the show with Kenny Omega. He gets in a little beef with Naito. Obviously, I don't know if Jericho's going to go back to New Japan and have a match with him or not, but he knows how to stay relevant and get the internet talking. Now, all of a sudden, it's Jericho challenging The Undertaker in a casket match. I don't think The Undertaker's ever lost a casket match. Maybe one. I'd have to go back and look. I know he lost a Buried Alive match, but I don't know about a casket match. I know I'm missing some of your comments, but again, it's just me. I don't have somebody I got my iPhone sideways and they're going up really quick. I will go in afterwards like I do and respond to some of them. But Jericho, first of all, within an hour of this match being announced, he's already tweeting, saying, I've already beat The Undertaker before, and I believe it was an Elimination Chamber match. I can't remember what match it was, but I think it was an Elimination Chamber match where he pinned The Undertaker to become the world champion. So he's been in some matches with Taker before, but not a casket match. Everybody, now you're probably thinking Chris Jericho, casket match. Yeah, it's a house show. Undertaker's going to beat him. The thing is with Chris Jericho, he is great as a heel in foreign lands. He pie-faced a Vancouver lady, granted, somebody that was bombarding him on his own personal time. He kicked the Brazilian flag and got thrown out of the country. What else did he do? He did something somewhere. Japan, at the press conference with Kenny Omega, he flipped the table and hit people that weren't workers. Chris Jericho brings a real, legit heel heat. If these fans chant, drink it in, man, in Saudi Arabia, or the list, he doesn't pander like Rusev would for Rusev Day. He ignores the fans or turns it into a heel move to put the spotlight on The Undertaker so he can go over in his casket match. Yes, it's predictable, but you know what? It's art. And Chris Jericho is now in this match, and it makes it interesting. Because I've never seen Jericho in a casket match. I don't want to see The Undertaker in this match. It's his match. We know he's going to win. I want to see Jericho and some of the heel things he does to try to win this match. I think it's going to go, obviously, with your entrances, a Jericho and a Taker entrance. That's going to eat up 2.5 minutes apiece. There's 5 minutes right there. I believe this match, being, looking at Jericho's past matches and Undertaker, how old he is, I'd be surprised if it's a squash match like Taker Cena at Mania. I think Jericho is going to be smart, and he's going to have a lot of things planned with The Undertaker. It's going to go from bell to bell. By the time Jericho's thrown into the casket and it's shut, I think it's going to go 9.5 minutes. It's a casket match. So there can be a lot of slow things and teasing. So I think that 9.5 minutes will seem like 15. Again, with entrances, with after Undertaker beats Jericho and does his pose, you're going to get a 15 or 20 minute segment. And that place in Saudi Arabia, they're going to remember that more than anything else on the show. As great as a 50-man Royal Rumble would be, and Greg Cherry would disagree with me, this match is going to be what people take away from this show. Because now Chris Jericho is in it, and he can protect The Undertaker and make like Chris Jericho does. Ever since he did DDP Yoga, it looks like Chris Jericho found the fountain of youth, and he spreads it to everybody he wrestles. And you know what? The Undertaker's probably going to look like he was 35 years old again in this match with Jericho, because Jericho will protect him and make sure all the Undertaker's strengths are focused on and the weaknesses are hidden. That's what Chris Jericho does. So, now, has anybody been actually commenting about Jericho Undertaker? Sorry. It's a 60,000 seat stadium too, so it's going to almost be like a Mania feel. So yes, the light bulbs are going to be going off. The dead man's going to come out. And here's the best part about it is we are going to get heel Chris Jericho. And what is better than that? I mean, seriously. Hey, and by the way, I was up to like 20 live viewers a little bit ago. And again, I could care less if I had anybody, and I appreciate the ones that do sit here and watch me, because I would record this on Google Hangouts offline. It's going up on NoDQ.com and all the social media anyway. So, but that's seriously my take. That's exactly what's going to happen. Jericho got the spot. We can put 10 reasons why Rusev got pulled. But more important than any of that, Jericho's in this spot now because it's Chris Jericho. And he can make The Undertaker look good. It can go a little bit longer because Jericho knows how to work a little bit longer of a match with an old guy like Taker that can't go the distance and make Undertaker not get blown up. It's going to be great all around, and we're going to see the casket, the teases. I would be shocked if something happens like Cena interferes. And now, granted, if I was writing WWE, just no matter where it was, Saudi Arabia, wherever, I would have done something like that. But the fact he's wrestling Triple H, Cena and Triple H, they're not going to bring any of that crap in. It's just going to be a standalone. It's basically like a house show. It's going to be like a house show. Will some titles change hands? Maybe. But this would be like if you went and saw a casket match back in the day with Undertaker and Kamala, and it was a house show in Cleveland at the Richfield Coliseum. You're going to get your 10 minutes worth of a match. Undertaker's going to go over. Fans are happy. They're taking pictures. They're buying Undertaker stuff at the merch stands. But all the while, in order to put a babyface over like that, you need a great heel, which wrestling is truly missing. And Chris Jericho knows how to turn it on. He is one of the few guys that even if he does get chance, because everybody loves and respects Jericho. And by the way, I said that would happen 20 years ago. Well, maybe not that long ago, but like 2003-ish, I said Jericho would become like this, and he did, and I was right. So I didn't write or do any of this wrestling stuff online back then either. So you got to take my word for it. Why is this such a stacked card? I don't know if the network launched in Saudi Arabia or if they're just trying to get a bunch of subscriptions to it, maybe sell a lot of merch, kind of like what they did at India. I don't know, but I really think that this looks like a bigger card than WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if more things happen. Oh, by the way, and yes, the title will change hands because I said Roman's going to win the title. But as for the other titles, I don't know. I could see all the other titles staying where they're at and just Roman getting the Universal Championship here. That way, they don't do, WWE for whatever reason doesn't like to. To me, this is. I guess you can say it's a house show, but if it's on the network, it's a pay-per-view. I guess so. It doesn't matter where it's at. So you got my two guaranteed outcomes there: Taker beats Jericho, and Roman beats Brock Lesnar. But you know what? That's okay on both. The fact is, Everybody expected Roman to beat Brock at WrestleMania, and when it didn't happen, you guys got like pissed because, well, we were invested that was going to happen, and we were all going to shit and boo on Roman for being the champ. But then when Brock walked away champ, we couldn't really do that yet. Yeah, whatever. WWE played everybody like a fool. Am I mad? I was in New Orleans, and I didn't get to see Roman win the title, and I wanted to be there when everyone else was pissed off leaving the arena. I wanted to be there and soak it in, and I couldn't. But you know what? I was there, and I still observed, and it was a hell of a... It wasn't a hell of a match, but it was a hell of a troll. The fact that it was Finish Fest, and Roman was busted open, and all the dirt that came out since, was it changed last second, this or that? You know what? Whatever WWE has done in the last 10 days, whatever fake leaks they've given Meltzer, I love the way the internet eats it up. It is. Because now I'm even more emotionally invested for when Roman does beat Brock and wins the Universal title. So, and now, like I said, I guess I was interested in this pay-per-view a little bit for that, but I probably would have maybe just fast-forwarded through it. With Jericho on the card against The Undertaker, I want to tweet after that match is over, told everybody Jericho just made The Undertaker look like he was 35 to 40 years old again. That's really what this is all about. And when it comes time for the Hall of Fame, yes, Undertaker's going to go in. You know, he may never go in the Hall of Fame because he may never retire. But then again, Kurt Angle's in the Hall of Fame, and he technically wrestled again. So what we're going to remember when Chris Jericho is inducted into the Hall of Fame, we're going to remember everything he did as a part-timer, because that's why I call him the part-time wrestler of the year already. He had this match with Omega. He created a buzz for Wrestle Kingdom 12. 7,000 more seats sold than the previous Wrestle Kingdom, and I believe buy rates were up for the paper, for even the New Japan app. Now Jericho is facing The Undertaker, and all of a sudden, it's overshadowing the fact that they pulled Rusev. So that's the legend that Chris Jericho is. Call me a Jericho mark. I liked Jericho before liking Jericho was cool. I remember him vaguely from ECW. As soon as he got live on WCW, I remember me and some buddies from school were like, wow, what's this guy in the cruiserweight division? He's bigger than the other cruiserweights. And then they let Jericho become his Jerichoholic character, Monday Night Nitro Jericho character. And ever since then, this guy has been entertaining. He has taken professional wrestling, trained at the Hart Dungeon, trained alongside with Lance Storm, came up with Lance Storm in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, went to Mexico, worked up in Canada, went to Japan, came over to ECW, then WCW, then WWE. And then, of course, we know Undertaker, failed attempts in WCW. As soon as Vince McMahon got a hold of him, put Paul Bearer with him, created the Dead Man gimmick, and history is where we're at. Yes, EGW Vengeance and everybody else affiliated with that hate Undertaker. I'd rather see Jericho over somebody else too, but the fact that Vince is going to put The Undertaker in these big events until Undertaker doesn't want to do them anymore, it's going to happen. I'm just glad it's Jericho, because I'm going to be watching the match from behind the curtain, so to speak, watching how Jericho pulls old Mark along through this match. And everybody will come to my Twitter at @NoDQ_Virtue after the fact, and they will say, damn it, Virtue, you called that match. Jericho and Taker called it in the ring. How did you know it was going to be 9 minutes long from bell to bell? How did you know it was going to be a 15-minute segment with entrances? Taker went over. It happened exactly like you said, but Jericho still looks credible because he's Chris Jericho, and he made The Undertaker look better than he has in 7 years. That's what we're going to get. This month, it's this month, April 27th. You'd think I work for WWE because I'm pumping this match up so much. But the fact is, anytime Jericho decides to come back into wrestling, and I think now with it being in his later stages of his career and we don't see him full time, everything he does is special. And to be honest with you, the little segment that Cena and Taker had, this casket match is going to crush that. And how fitting that I say crush, because that's what Rusev used to say, I will crush you. But you know what? Sorry, Rusev. Rusev Day is over. I mean, you know, as long as you work for WWE, Vince will still sell your T-shirts because he's making money off of them. But let's be honest with you. You're never going to get back to the main event. Not because you're talented, but because a catchphrase that you said got over with the marks. And for whatever reason, your name's not Daniel Bryan, so it's not going to sustain. Yes, GOAT. This guy made Shawn Michaels relevant for 8 years after retirement. Who made Shawn Michaels relevant? Kyle, you think Undertaker made Shawn Michaels relevant? I think Shawn Michaels made Shawn Michaels relevant because when he came back after retirement, he had a hot feud with Triple H. And then don't forget, he had a feud with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 19. Shawn Michaels carried The Undertaker those 2 matches and put him over both times. And this is coming from the guy that says Razor Ramon carried Shawn Michaels in the ladder match at WrestleMania 10. That's just my thought. But they were both very good in that match. But I really think that Razor carried Shawn more than Shawn carried Razor in that match. And that's probably an unpopular opinion. But with that said, Shawn grew from that. And Shawn went on to carry a lot of matches himself. So I will give him that. Yes, Crush. Crush is a guy that I think his biggest moment was Demolition. But don't get me wrong, he did have a heck of a shorter match with Savage at WrestleMania 10. And he did have that run with Chronic. Crush was a guy that was probably underutilized, maybe because he wasn't best on the microphone. The best casket match Taker ever had, I don't know. I mean, he's been in so many of them. I mean, I can remember coffin match against Kamala, casket match against Yokozuna. Probably one, the one with Shawn at the Royal Rumble was good. The one where Shawn got hurt. But I don't know. I mean, the gimmick matches are hard to call what the best one is of all time. So I don't really know. But I hope I can put this Jericho one up there. And if they allow Jericho to call the match with Taker in the ring, they don't make it a squash match. I think they can keep it under 10 minutes slightly from bell to bell. But they're so good. Jericho's so good, he can make that feel like you just watched a 20-minute match. And I think if that all happens like I'm planning it to, it's going to come across as, wow, another great all-time match. Again, it's strange that they pulled Rusev. Could Rusev have had that match with Undertaker? Probably not, because Rusev's the type of guy I think he needs to work with younger guys that move quickly in matches. If you notice a lot of wrestling matches today, they don't stop and pause for crowd reactions and get heat and psychology much anymore. It's rushing to the next spot. And unfortunately, even though Rusev came in as that big guy that did the submission and beat people up, he's become one of those spot guys. And I don't think he would have meshed well against The Undertaker. So from that standpoint alone, Jericho is a jack of all trades. He will make that match work better than I think Rusev would have. So that is all I want to talk about. This is going to get posted on NoDQ.com. I will go through and answer any of the questions that I missed. Oh, yeah, no psychology. In any sport, right? Not even baseball anymore? All right. I didn't pick a movie, but I did pick Roseanne. I was always a big fan of this series because of the writing, not because of Roseanne. I actually like John Goodman. Sarah Gilbert's a great actress. And, of course, Laurie Metcalf, the girl that plays Jackie. Fabulous actress. So the new series is on, and I've been watching it, and I absolutely love it. And I hope it goes on for a few more seasons. Writing, if you can write real-life stuff and make it feel like they're part of your family, or you can experience that stuff in your family, that's what entertainment's all about. That's when wrestling used to be good. But when they had storylines and story writings and managers, what happened to the managers? Jesus. So Roseanne is my pick for that. And Anthony Gazo, are you still there? Because I think I'm going to be booting this back up soon. I don't know. I think this is going to eventually come to the Switch. I really do. Don't get the 3DS version, by the way. I don't even own it. But if you have a Wii U and you get Mario Maker, tweet me, because I will let you know how to get to my levels. And Tony can attest to this. Some of them are ridiculously hard and tricky. He's got great levels on here too, so obviously I'll direct you towards him. So please, if you want to play Super Mario Maker and have a Wii U or go to GameStop and buy a Wii U, this is the game. And I haven't played it for a while, but I am now getting ready this weekend to go in there and maybe I'll make a new level. Yeah, see, I must have knew that, Tony, because some reason this was the game I knew I had to pull out. I didn't even know you were going to watch this video tonight. So there you have it, people. All right, I went over probably my 15 or 20 minutes that I wanted to do because, again, I was only going to talk about this casket match where it changed from Rusev to Jericho versus The Undertaker, and that's going to happen on April 27th. And, again, greatness is still in wrestling, even though it's few and far between. But we'll see everybody later. Thanks for watching.